Before we begin, thank you very much to Vera for joining the Patreon campaign. Thank you very much for the support. It is very, very appreciated. I also apologize if I got that name wrong. I'm never sure how to pronounce names like that. Hopefully that is correct. But yeah, the Patreon, please consider pitching in, even if it is only $1 or $2 a month. I've got so many projects going on right now, as you can clearly see from the opening. And I'm trying to bring you bigger, better content, new things to do, new things to watch, including the new Twitch channel I'm kicking off. The description contains the link you need to go follow that and to follow the new socials. Please do so. I'm super excited for this whole thing, and I want to see as many of you there once it kicks off. So, with that out of the way, it's been a while since we looked at a alternative to Transformers. For all those people out there who are sick of paying $25 for a deluxe, or you just want a new experience in general, don't worry, I'm going to let you know. But this time, I'm actually going to try to save you money and warn you about something that you probably saw very commonly if you go through a Walgreens or a Walmart in the US. A very, very affordable alternative to a transformer that's very easy to pick up and find, which are M.A.R.S converters. Converters are, well, let's be honest, you probably look at them and realize how cheap they are. Like, these are very large toys for under $20 usually. And I think this is one of those that I'm going to show off mostly just so you see what you get for your money. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. This is not going to be a proper review. I'm literally just if it'll stay in my hand, I'm literally just going to show this guy off, and just to show just so you can get to see like how it is like. So yeah, I will give it credit. They actually do go for stuff that Transformers doesn't. So like old school car here is kind of rare for Transformers to do, and they do some pretty futuristic cars as well in their lineup. You can see it is painted decently. A lot of silver on there, white top and everything, exposed engine. You can tell the detailing already is not quite what Transformers would be. Like, the engine alone has very little detail to it. Nothing terribly intricate. The molding on this is not complicated at all. But yeah, like, at first glance, this seems pretty good, right? Pretty solid. Like pretty good looking and pretty big for the price. So it is getting a little hollow looking under there. We will get into that here in a bit. So yeah, but like, it does what it's supposed to do in this mode. I will say wheels are decent enough. They are pinned in. I'll give them credit for that. But something that's hard to convey here is feel. The one thing about these that really tells you this is not, this is kind of a waste of money, is just the feel of a M.A.R.S converter. Because frankly, I can't convey that across a window. There's no way YouTube can allow me to actually demonstrate that for you. All I can do is tell you for a fact, this thing for its size doesn't feel right. For the size, this feels like it should be a lot heavier. So I can already tell it's using lighter weight plastics, and it's using a lot more hollow space, even if it looks more solid. So that's a big factor for me on these. Like, this should be weighty. It's not weighty. It's very light. But I think vehicle mode doesn't convey much. Like I said, this isn't going to be a proper review. I'm just kind of like demonstrating it, mostly for those who see it at their stores and they're kind of curious about it, but they don't feel like spending $15 on one. I don't blame you. Don't blame you. So I'm just going to show you what you get for that 15. That's the whole point here, is review. So in case you're curious, I spend the money so you don't. Because I'm a professional. I can write it off on my taxes. You can't. Now, you'll also notice that this is a pretty basic standard style of transformation. If you dealt with any car transformer, you've probably felt something like this before. I will tell you, it doesn't feel great. As I'm going through it, I'm feeling the plastic like clicking and clacking together in a way that really isn't pleasant. Like there's something about it, just like the tone. It's hard to describe, but like there's a tone to how the plastic sounds that just tells me this is not high quality material. But I will give them credit. Yeah, spring up automorph head, so you have that. And okay, what you get, this is usually how they come packaged, so this is basically what you see in the store. And yeah, like for the price, for 15 bucks, that's really sizable. That's very large. You know, by comparison, that's a standard deluxe. 25 bucks, 15 bucks, and that's how they market these. It's like, wow, these are such super cheap alternatives. And at a Walgreens, where they're usually overcharging for like mainline normal action figures, that looks even better by comparison, right? This is essentially like a Transformers Authentics situation, where like they are making a lot of sacrifices for the toy for the sake of making it as large as possible. The difference is, I think Authentics even uses better quality stuff than this is using. Hence, even those have price differences. But as you can see from the robot, yeah, like you're getting a full, you know, Transformer-ish experience, but things are a little bit odd. Like, yeah, we got plenty of paint here in the midsection, but we also have these flat panel feet, which is not my preference. We have these big pieces of kibble hanging off the arms, which is, you know, something that Transformers would clean up. And you have a looseness to this. Like, these joints are, like, very loose here. Like, very, very light touches, and they just collapse down. Which is not pleasant feeling. Like, in just general, like, body shape alone, I hate when shoulders are sitting too low on the chest, and that's exactly what's going on here, and there's no way to raise them up any higher than that, so not my best. Also, well, can the back kibble please? You should be tabbing in so that doesn't happen. Why do you not tab in? Also, not a fan of the head sculpt. It's just a flat panel. It looks like he's wearing a motorcycle helmet. It's very unexciting. Articulation range is fine, but like I said, none of the joints feel solid. Everything kind of feels loosey-goosey and not really something that I could see myself messing with too much. It's got the essential stuff because the Automorph had no neck. But yeah, ugh. It just, I don't know. There's something gross feeling about it. Like, it's an experience I recommend just so you can tell what is like. This is like the type of toy that you put in front of the Transformer fan going like, Hasbro rips us off. 25 bucks for a deluxe? That's way too expensive. Like, they're so cheap now. They're so poorly made now. This is cheap and poorly made. Experience that. You know, and realize, like, if you want a large toy for 15 bucks like you used to get, it's going to feel like this. And that ain't great. Also, it's missing things like ankle tilt, so good luck keeping it stable when it stands up. Yeah, it's mostly just a cheap toy for a kid, just so you can keep them quiet when they're in the store. They walk out with something, you don't have to pay a lot. Okay, so everyone's happy, right? Right. But yeah, like I said, it's just the feel of it. It feels gross. It feels gross. You can feel how cheap it is. You can feel how flimsy the plastic is when it starts clashing with each other. It's something I cannot convey in a video, but you have to take my word for it. It just doesn't feel right, you know? Just messing with Transformers last night. Like, they feel dead solid, you know? But it's one of those times where, like, I'm not one of those snobs that's like, oh, I can feel how cheap the plastic is in modern Transformers. I play with G1 toys, I play with modern toys. Like, honestly, the only difference I find is, like, the thickness, and then they are using some different material than they used to. And there's good reason for that. But this I can feel. There is definitely a difference in quality. Now, M.A.R.S converters doesn't just do cars and vehicles, however. Every now and then, they will spit out a beast, usually a dinosaur. Also, you'll excuse me if I don't know the names of these, because frankly, like, they don't exactly have a wiki that I can check, like some other transforming franchises. But yeah, here we have a big robotic Brachio. And, you know, it's green with some purple hits here and there. Do like a character that's green with a few purple hits. Not gonna lie. But that's it. I mean, look-wise, it's fine. It looks fine. I question the giant orange wings. I'm sorry. Like, I'm a D&D player. I deal with dragons all the time. There's nothing that can convince me this Brontosaurus is going to fly anytime soon. Like, I understand they're missile launchers, but why they have to be shaped like wings? This just feels like you're insulting him. Like, you know he's never going to take off, right? Why would you give him the hope? But other than that, yeah, like, it's a standard beast former. He's got, I think, ball jointed stuff. The joints are buried, so it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, it's a little bit articulated. You can adjust the wings here and there. You know, like, it's nothing terribly exciting. You know, it's just a big green brachio robot. If we transform him, if I rip his tail off here and set it aside, and then, yeah, he's one of those, you can already tell, like, there's his robot head. He is one of those who kind of just stands up into his robot mode. Now, to be fair, the legs do a little bit extra transforming than those standard kind of like just stand up into transform type things, but not a whole lot more. I'm going to rotate those around like so. We're going to get his arms out. Get the fist folded out. And there you go. Very quick. So, I'll say the beast mode looked more interesting than the old school car did. And that's about as far as we can get here. Everything else gets kind of chunky and ugly. Like, I've tried. Like, I can't... Okay, I can collapse the hips a little bit. But not much. They still stick way out from the body. I'm trying here. Nope. That's as far in as they go. Not the best looking. Also, like, the arms. I really do not like the look of the arms. Like, that... I don't like how the arm goes from, like, big, thick gorilla biceps to super scrawny, thin monkey arm. It's weird. Like, if I put it down, like, here, like... his arms go below his knees. It's such a weird proportion. Like, surely Dinobots figured this out for them 40 years ago, right? Like, anyone who's doing a transforming dinosaur should look at a Dinobot just to see how it's done. Dinosaur legs are big, thick parts. How do you not account for that? How do you not use that bulk to form the arm? Like, this is the kind of thing that, like, where M.A.R.S fails me. So, like, on this one, like, the head sculpt actually looks a little bit better. Like, it looks like they're trying to give it a little bit of personality. You know, and the deco here is actually not bad. I like the hits of purple that are on the thighs and the upper body and the lower leg. I like all these, like, you know, slash-looking marks of gray on the torso. He's more dynamic in robot mode, you know, he's at least deco-wise, than the car was. But it's just such a weird, odd shape of body. And then there's, like, the part where, of course, like, you've got all this back kibble hanging off the brontosaurus neck that they had nothing to do with. These things that at least, like, robot mode has wings, maybe? Nope. Nope. Can the launchers fold up to be over his shoulder? Nope. Nope, they're just kind of stuck there. They're just kind of stuck there. So they're not really utilizing even everything that it can do. Like, at that point, I wouldn't have minded if those just popped off to reattach to his shoulders. And, like, okay, now I got shoulder cannons. That would have been neat. I mean, I do get the sword. I mean, that's something. Tail becomes a sword. That's pretty typical. You know, and if I can run down the articulation really quick, again, nothing in the head. We do have some kind of jointage in the arms. It seems ball jointed, but it's very limited in motion. Nothing at the waist. Hips are, again, kind of ball jointed. But because of the way the ball joints are cut, it doesn't really leave you much room. That one's about to pop off at any second, because that barely fits inside. No, yeah, we got rotation below the knee. The knee works itself. No angled tilt or anything. Hey, ay, ay. And again, it just has this gross feeling to it. You know, it's not even like, it's not just the fact that, like, these particular elements of it feel gross. It's like, there's also just how, like, one thing I don't think Transformers gets enough credit for is how much the toys are cleaned up after they are run and after they are, like, coming out of the mold. Because when it comes to toys like this, something that you come across a lot, and something I can feel a lot on this, is that little bit of mold flash that's left over. You know, where you can tell that the mold wasn't properly trimmed off, you know, and it just feels like you'll be in the middle of transforming it and things will start feeling sharp in the wrong way. You know, it's like even that, like that gives you that feeling of like, this is a dollar store toy. This is a very cheap, poorly made toy. And that just conveys through the entire process of this figure. You know, and then you can see things like this, like, see how flexy that plastic is? That shouldn't be a thing. That should not be a thing on a transforming toy. And that's where the cheap feeling comes in. You can see it on this guy. Look how thin the arm panels are. You know, and this is on a big figure. If I can get you into a position where you're not about to fall over. So yeah. Technically, yes, this is an alternative to Transformers. However, I definitely feel like you get what you pay for. They are large for their price, but they feel bad. And the transformations are nothing to write home about. There's nothing dynamic, you know, and there's nothing interesting about the engineering. It's just doing its job as much as it absolutely has to, and then phoning in the rest. And then, yeah, like cheap plastic, poor articulation, loose joints on the robot, loose joints on the car, limited joints on the dinosaur. And then both of them have the same problem of the plastic feels very thin, feels very cheap, and it does. And I need to test the lead content of this paint because I'm starting to be suspicious. But then again, it's your money. This is mostly just word of warning. Yeah, they are functional, but they don't feel great. And I would still much rather play with a $25 deluxe than I would one of these. The only reason I have them is because I know people would be curious, so I decided to grab them while they were on clearance at Walgreens. And that's really the only reason I own them, is so I can educate you, the masses, about what your alternatives to Transformers are. Find ones better than this. Pay for something that is high quality, please. But that's going to be it for today. So there is your education. For those all who are curious, avoid them. I don't like these. So that's it for me. Thank you everyone for watching. I will see you next time. The day is getting closer. My journey is almost over. And when it is, our journey begins. The question is, when the stars align, will you be there?